Hello, and welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repair. And today we've got a really cool guitar on the channel. It's a Firebird. This is a 2007 Gibson Firebird in Tobacco Sunburst. And Firebirds are getting harder to come by. Gibson no longer makes them in this construction method. The original Firebirds have a neck through construction, so basically the neck and this strip of the body is just one solid piece of wood, or rather multiple pieces of wood bound together in one solid chunk that goes all the way from the neck to the end of the body. And then these two pieces are wings that are attached to the through neck. Gibson no longer makes it like these except for the custom shop models, which are very pricey. The new ways that they make these Firebirds are just set neck. So these older Firebirds are commanding, really high prices. They're harder to find, and they're becoming really sought after. I found this one locally used. It does need a little bit of work. Parts have been replaced on it, and it's missing a few things. So I thought it would be fun to go through this guitar, top to bottom, and do any repairs needed or make any replacements needed to the parts, and then set it up, plug it in, and see how it sounds. Let's go ahead. So it came in this gigantic case. The latches all still work. It is missing a handle. Looks like it's been replaced with these big bolts. I'm not sure if those are the original brackets for the handle or not, but it has no handle at the moment. I'm looking into some alternatives that I could replace it with. And yeah, here's the guitar. The case is cool. It's got the white interior. It's a little dirty, stained in some places, but it fits the guitar really well. And so yeah, just right off the bat here, I took off the knobs because a lot of them were cracked and broken. I do have some replacements here that I'll go through in a little bit. So the knobs have been cracked and broken, so I got replacements for those already. Both pickups have been replaced. These are mini buckers. So we've got a Seymour Duncan mini bucker in the neck. And apparently this is a custom wound local guy who made this pickup. I had a long chat with the previous owner when I bought this, so I know a few things about the guitar. So yeah, this is like a custom hand wound bridge pickup. It is a mini bucker as well. So that's what's kind of cool about Firebirds. They have the same cavity size as mini buckers, so you can use the Firebird pickups, which are a little different than mini buckers, or you can use mini buckers. So I've never actually tried mini buckers on a Firebird before, so that's pretty interesting. The guitar itself is in, decent shape. It's definitely got scratches and dings, and it's pretty dirty right now. It's got a couple chips. But, overall, it's not too bad. The fingerboard's filthy. It really needs a cleaning. The frets need to be polished and cleaned. When I first got it, the action on it was like this. It was actually used for a slide guitar, so it had a really big replaced nut on there with like 60 gauge strings and like huge action. So I went ahead. So yeah, this is the original nut, and look at the grooves cut for the strings. They're very, very wide. If you put on like 10s or 9s on this, this nut's not going to work great for those because the channel is now too big. But it looks like it was a bone nut. It looks like a homemade kind of a deal. But I do have a really nice bone nut that I cut for this that I'm going to replace it with. It's just the right size. Fits in there perfectly. So I've got a bone nut for there that I'm going to use. I've got new knobs. It's got a rosewood fingerboard. It's kind of a lighter fingerboard. I checked the truss rod. The truss rod's good. It's showing a few threads, but still lots of room for adjustment. And I just have the truss cover off because I was checking it out. It's the Gibson Firebird truss cover, like that. So this originally did not come with these banjo style tuners. I really like these tuners on a Firebird, but the original owner had replaced them. These are the original tuners. There's only a few left because they were replaced due to them stripping out. So these would have been the original tuners, these big heavy duty tuners. I've only got 4 of them left because 2 of them broke, but the other owner had replaced them with these banjo style tuners, which I really like, the Steinberger style tuners. Feels really light. The neck is not too thin. I know on a lot of Firebirds they got super thin, slim necks. This one has a little bit more chunkiness to it, which I like. I've got larger hands, so. And there's a look at the back. Again, you can see just like buckle worming, chips and dings, but nothing like egregious. Firebirds also have the belly cut, which is nice. Looks like the straps have been replaced with, I'm not sure what kind of strap locks these are, but these are like the push button ones. So I'll probably leave them on there because I don't mind those strap locks. And yeah, there you can see our through neck construction. So you see the maple, or sorry, the walnut pieces there in the middle of the neck. And then that just continues on to the body all the way to the end. You can see on the headstock the screw holes where the tuners have been replaced, where the old original tuners used to be. And then they added the Steinberger style banjo tuners. There was no other modifications needed. They didn't need to drill out anything or anything else like that. They just used the original holes. So that's a pretty easy to replace back to original if you want, but I do prefer these style tuners on a Firebird. And then there's our serial number, dating it to a 2007. Here's all the original parts it came with. It came with the tuners, again, the old nut. This is the bridge that was on it, which is like a roller bridge. I'm not sure the kind. Doesn't really have any branding on it. But I don't much like this bridge because I think that it's going to be too tall. Even with the bridge post like decked all the way down, this seemed like it would be too tall of a bridge. So I think I'm going to go ahead and replace the bridge with something else. This is what I had from my parts. This is just a very low profile bridge. It's Tune-O-Matic style, but it's got the Graphtec saddles, so I think this would work well on this guitar. And then here's a look at the knobs that I've got. They're just kind of amber over reflector knobs that I think are going to look nice. And then again, the bone nut. And I want to go ahead and check out the electronics, see if those are original, like the pots and the wiring and stuff like that. Check out the pickups themselves, and then we're going to clean this thing up, set it up, do a little fretwork on there, and then check the setup and then plug it in and see how it sounds. I actually hadn't checked out the case cavity yet. So on a Firebird they have a huge case cavity. You could pretty much like fit a laptop in there. But looks like these are the strings he was using on it, so 10 to 60s, so very heavy strings. And yeah, they got 3 sets of them. Not sure what I'm going to use them for. Those are way too heavy for me. And then it's got the original pre-packed checklist with the serial number. And yeah, looks good. And despite being a very big guitar, this guitar is crazy light. This is weighing in at 6 pounds, 14.2 ounces. So just under 7 pounds, which is crazy. And or 3.126 kilograms. Just seeing what these pickups read. So the back pickup is actually engraved. It says Suburban. I tried to type it online. I can't find anything about that brand or the local winder. So maybe they'll have more information on the back. Maybe I can find some more info that way. But it looks like it's reading a 5.99 in the bridge. And then in the neck position, it's reading a 3.48. So very low output on the neck. And in the neck it's reading a 3.48, but I'm getting the same reading in the middle as well. So I know the neck is a Seymour Duncan, but I'm not sure if this might be wired correctly. That's why I'm not getting a different reading. So we might have to mess with the electronics a little bit. Here's a look at the tailpiece. It's got the casting mark down the middle. It's full weight. I believe this is an original tailpiece that looks the part. And then the bridge has been replaced with this roller bridge. My concern is just the height of it. It seems like a really tall bridge, so I might not be able to get it down to the action that I want using that bridge. So here's the replacement. I'm not sure what brand this is, but this is a very low profile bridge, you can see there, and it's got the Graphtec saddles that you can adjust to intonate. So that's what I'm going to be using for the bridge. Alright, let's have a look at these pickups. And not much else on the back. It looks like they've got covers, so you can't really see what kind of magnets there are or anything else like that. It says P20, or maybe that's upside down. Yeah. So SMHB020. So I would say that's something humbucker, small humbucker, and then it's the 20th one he made. And then in the top it says Suburban, with a little bit of a symbol there. It looks like a horseshoe with some clovers. So interesting. If anyone's heard of this brand, please let me know. As far as I know, it's a local winder, but I can't find any information online. And the route looks good. Looks nice and clean. You can see that there's some factory writing in there. So it says DSFR. Not sure what that would stand for, but you can see in the cavity that they route right into that one piece through neck there. So that all looks the same. So let's have a look at our neck pickup. There's not a lot of lead length there. I don't want to pull on it, but it looks like it's a Seymour Duncan, made in America, it says, and it is a IOP08 and SM2N. I wasn't familiar with this pickup, so I looked it up. So it's called the Custom Mini Humbucker Neck, and it looks like it is a ceramic magnet with some overwound coils, and yeah, it looks like it should be reading a little hotter than it's showing in the meter. So it might be that it's not quite wired up correctly. So we might have to double check how this is wired. I also read that this should be reading about an 8.5 for resistance with the meter. So it's a 4-lead conductor wire, so it could be possible that they didn't quite wire that up right, and it's only at half output right now, kind of like a coil tap or coil split. Here's a look underneath the pick guard. The pick guard kind of broke off at the end there. I'm just going to glue that back in place with a little bit of super glue, just so it stays put. And then it looks like it's got the original switch here. And if you didn't know, this is how a Firebird is routed. So they put in that big route underneath the pick guard just for these wires. So yeah, it seems like they could just do like a drill route, or even a drill cavity just from the cavity here, and then just have a small hole for the three-way selector switch. But that's how they do it. Okay, so I'm trying to get a reading on just the pickup. So I'm attaching the black to the ground and the red to the hot wire. So we're still getting a reading of 3.50. And I did check, and this is the two wires put together for the single coil are for the split mode are correct, and the black and the green, or sorry, the bare and the green are the grounds, and the black is the hot. So we've just got an issue with this pickup. I think it's only reading the one coil. I'm going to go ahead and try to unsolder this and try some different combinations to see if I can get the whole coil working, like the whole pickup. And we should get a higher rating, about 8. But yeah, it might be an issue with one of the coils on the pickup. So I guess we'll see what we can do here. Okay, I managed to figure it out. Actually, the wires were correct. It was actually wired up correctly. There was just an extra ground wire put in for some reason, going to a pot. So I just removed that, and then everything started working the way it should. So this is our new neck reading. So now we have a 6 in the bridge, an 8.37 in the neck, which makes a lot more sense, and a 3.49 in the middle position. And here's a look at our wiring cavity. So yeah, nice clean route. It does have all the original pots and capacitors and output jack. So we've got our Switchcraft output jack, our Gibson branded pots, and the original capacitor. So the only thing that's been swapped on this guitar is the pickups and the tuners and the strap buttons. Alright, I've got the pickups wired up properly now. All the wiring is good. I just put on my new bridge here, the low profile. And then I've just put on the bone nut here, which I cut before. So now I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to oil and condition the fingerboard and polish up the frets and restring and set it up. And we'll check the setup. Okay, this guitar took a lot of work to set up. It was, it needed a lot of truss adjustments. I had trouble with the tuners. The tuners weren't opening, so I couldn't get the E and the A string into the hole here to lock down. So I had to grease them up with some lithium grease and then use a needle to kind of open up that hole, and then finally it started working. It was super dirty. The fingerboard was super dry. So I've got that nice and conditioned now, and yeah, it was just very hard to set this guitar up. It took some time. My nut wasn't quite cut deep enough, so I had to use my files to get good action on the nut now. But it all came together, and I'm really happy with the setup now. So sometimes you get these guitars that that do require some work to set up, for sure. Alright, so let's go ahead and check the setup. So using my notched straight edge here, you can see that there is just a little bit of relief in the fingerboard, or in the neck here. You can see that little gap between the notched straight edge and the fingerboard. So there's a little bit of relief in the neck. And here in the 3rd fret area, you can see that when I use the 3rd fret that the string is almost resting on that 1st fret. So I cut the nut a little bit better here. It was a little tall before. The nut slots were a little tall, so now we've got really nice low action there. And on the 12th fret here, using my action gauge, you can see that on the 12th fret it's just a little over 1 millimeter, and for the low E it's a little over 1 millimeter. For the high E it's just below 1 millimeter. So that's pretty well how I like to set my guitars. So nice low action. So this is pretty cool. Even though this guitar is like super light, it's under 7 pounds, it has 0 neck dive. It just stays exactly where you want it to. And yeah, it's a super light guitar, feels really good, and there's no neck dive. And I'm just going to go through the entire fingerboard to make sure there's no buzzing or fretting out anywhere. So yeah, very nice low action, no buzzing or fretting out anywhere. And the guitar acoustically sounds really nice. And it rings out for a very long time. These neck throughs are supposed to have like increased sustain, that's kind of why they do it, but yeah, it's got really nice sustain. As far as vibrations, it's kind of vibrating very uniformly, like it's not more in one area than the other, which you'd kind of expect because this is just one piece of wood, or one like a through neck design. But it's not vibrating as much as some of the other guitars I have. But it still rings out very nicely, and it's got a very nice acoustic sound. Alright, let's get some neck specs. So width the nut is a 1.70 inches or 43.26 millimeters. And at the 12th fret that is a 2.09 inches or a 53.14 millimeters. Neck depth at the first fret is a 0.86 inches or a 21.88 millimeters. And at the 12th fret, it stays pretty consistent at a 0.86 inches or a 21.92 millimeters. Here's a look at the neck profile. So it's pretty much a D-shaped neck. It's like a really soft kind of a C. So more of a D, and it flattens out even more by the 12th fret. So a pretty flat neck profile. And the neck feels pretty good. I got larger hands, so usually I don't like Firebird necks because they feel really skinny and thin, but this one's got a little bit of extra to it. It feels quite comfortable. I like, it's a little wider than some necks. It's got the D profile, so I kind of like a more of a C profile, but this is definitely not bad. I can get used to it. Alright, so before we plug it in, I just want to have a quick look at the condition here. It cleaned up pretty nice. It's definitely not as gross or dirty as it was before. You can see it's got checking all over it, and definitely looks like a well-used guitar. I think the owner before me, it was a stage guitar, so it's got some road mojo, and you can just see marks and dings and checking throughout there. The fretboard darkened up nicely. I just used some lemon oil to condition it, and I buffed up the frets here so they're looking nice and shiny now. I didn't notice any like big divots or anything in the frets, so they're in quite nice condition. And there's a look at the new bone nut here, which turned out nicely. And the headstock's in good shape. A little bit of a ding right there by this the low E tuner. And the truss rod cover kind of has a little bit of a bend to it, so it sits proud a little bit. You can kind of push it down, but you can't really notice it unless you're really up close. So look at the back. The back, a little bit more worn than the front. You've got some buckle worming, some dings kind of throughout. It looks like a Murphy aged guitar, but naturally, through normal use. The neck, it's good. There's no marks or dings in the neck at all, so nothing you can feel. And the headstock, back of the headstock's in good shape. You still got the screw holes from the previous tuners, but the new tuners are working well now. I had a little bit of an issue restringing them, getting the string through the hole, but I figured it out. So yeah, overall this thing cleaned up quite nicely, and now it's playing really well. Let's go ahead and plug it in and see how it sounds. Alright, I'm plugged into my Dr. Z Prescription Extra Strength. I'm just going to go through each pickup clean, and then with a little bit of dirt. Yeah, I think it sounds great clean. It's got that really kind of punchy Firebird sound, even though it's got a little bit of different pickups. I think this is like really capturing the essence of like a Firebird. It's got that really kind of twangy, kind of high-end, kind of nasally kind of sound. Kind of like a Telecaster, but mixed with a little bit more of a humbucker in the bridge position. And then the neck position is kind of more like that, but just like softer, and the middle is kind of a good blend of both. So I think it sounds great. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try it out with a little bit of dirt. All right, so final thoughts on this 2007 Firebird and Tobacco Sunburst. This thing came to me in bad shape. I mean, the action on it was like this. It was set up for slide. It had a replaced nut. It was had cracked knobs on it. When we took it apart, the pickups weren't wired correctly. So this guitar was a lot of work. I took a really long time to set this up correctly. It needed a lot of adjustment with the truss rod because such heavy strings have been put on there for a long time. So it took a long time to find the sweet spot with, I put 9s on here now. And just dialing in the setup was labor intensive, but this is one of those guitars where, you know, you put in a lot of work and it's totally worth it because it's got a great weight. It's crazy light. It's under 7 pounds for a guitar this big. It's a through neck, which has got really nice sustain. This is kind of a hard guitar to find these days. They're quite sought after. Gibson doesn't make them the same anymore. They make them set necks now instead of the through necks like they used to. So people are holding on to these and asking a lot more money for them. And they're just becoming a lot more sought after. They're really cool guitars. And I just thought it really sounded great. I mean, the pickups on this aren't original at all. So we've got a Seymour Duncan custom mini bucker in the neck and some sort of hand-wound boutique builder pickup in the back, but they sound great together. They really complement each other well, and you just get a nice screaming bridge pickup, and then the neck really melds it out, and then the middle position's like somewhere in the middle. It really sounds great. It sounds great for rock or country or blues. You can even, you know, amp up the distortion, get some nice metal tones out of there too. So I'm really happy with the way it sounds. It's playing great now too. I mean, nice low action, no buzzing or fretting out anywhere. I didn't think I would like the neck, but this one's a little bit chunkier than some other Firebirds that I've tried, so I actually don't mind the neck at all. The tuners gave me some grief. I couldn't put the strings in the A and the E string. They were just kind of blocked, so I had to lubricate that mechanism and stick a needle in there and kind of weasel it out, but it ended up working out. It started to stay in tune pretty great. It's intonated well. And it's really easy and nice to play. This is the third Firebird I've had. I've gotten rid of the other two because there's just little things about it I didn't like. One of the neck was way too thin for me. The other one, it was really neck divey. This one doesn't seem to have those problems, and it actually sounds better than the other two that I've tried. So I definitely think I'm going to be keeping this one. If you get a chance to try out one of these old Firebirds, I'd say go for it because they're really cool guitars. I think they look amazing. I really love the look out of them. And they're really comfortable to play. Like they really sit in your lap nicely. They're very big, but they're very comfortable to play, and they're comfortable to play on a strap as well. And this one is so light. You get that really nice, crazy nice tone, and you can play like, you know, 4 sets with this thing, and your back's not going to kill. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. It did take a lot of work, but I definitely think it was worth it. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you for tuning in to Beckler Guitars and Repair, and I'll have more for you really soon. Thanks a lot.